Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Man, forget everything I said yesterday about the Frieza stuff. This new cooler stuff has me hooked. I didn't even realize we were getting new cooler support in set 9, and seeing it this morning, or the morning before I'm recording this, it was so exciting, guys. Cooler is one of my favorite villains in all of Dragon Ball. I think his powered up form, his final form, looks so sick. I think he puts Frieza to shame. Man, when we get a golden cooler card from Heroes, that's gonna be so dope. But anyways, today, guys, we're talking about the cooler stuff. We're talking a little bit about how it interacts with stuff that's already been spoiled. We're gonna look at it. We're going to talk about it, talk about cool interactions, all that good stuff you guys love. Before we do, guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so never miss a video. Guys, big news. New Crossworld TCG merchandise shop is up and running. It's in the description below. We've got hats, t-shirts, socks, phone cases, all kinds of cool stuff. It all really helps the channel a lot, guys. I know it's annoying when I plug these things, but it really does help out a lot. Keeps this content rolling. And guys, you can wear this awesome gear to the Daily Mac Tournament of Power. It's a big move for Dragon Ball Super. We want to see you there, and it's going to be the biggest event of the year. Me and my team are going to make that happen. With that being said, we're talking about the new cooler support. So firstly, we will look at this new leader, see what it does. Auto, when this card attacks a leader card, draw one. Kind of that old school effect. Kind of unfortunate that you can't draw by attacking anything, but I guess they had to balance it some way, somehow. Auto, when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop area. So, another fun fact about myself, I love Janemba as a villain. He's one of my favorite villains. The Janemba movie, really dope. I'm also a big Gogeta fan, and it sucks that Gogeta and Janemba are two of like the cheesiest win conditions in the entire game of Dragon Ball Super. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but it's just kind of the matter of the fact. At least in my opinion anyway. I'm not like super in love with the fact they made this into like a mill archetype, but I don't think the mill is like the main goal of the deck. I think it's more just like a additional way to put pressure on the opponent, and I think this is almost what Janemba was maybe meant to be, like maybe punish strategies that draw almost through their entire deck, but it's not like the main win condition of the deck. So I do kind of like how it adds additional pressure. If it becomes the main win condition of this deck, I'm going to be kind of disappointed, but I guess time will tell. Auto once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased by the skill of one of your battle cards, draw one card. So there is a card we'll read in a little bit that does this. Man, if only this thing said not only battle cards, but like one of your cards, period. This would have worked like after image. That would have been kind of crazy. After image, draw a card. But this is a good balancing technique they did, where they made it have to be a battle card. Awaken, when it lives 4 or less, draw one and shoot up to one of your energy. Switch to active mode, then flip this card over. One thing I want to mention that's different than both of the red Frieza leaders, this leader just draws. This leader is not like top 3 search or top 2 search, so the consistency could be a little bit less than Frieza if you're going for like a swap engine, but I don't necessarily know if this deck is going to go for an archetype like that, but we'll see. We'll keep reading. We'll read the backside. Cooler, Revenge transformed. Auto, when this card attacks, draw one. When the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop area, so that same mill 1 effect. Auto once per turn. When the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased by the skill of one of your battle cards, draw one. So now the auto changes a bit on the backside. It doesn't care whose turn it is. Just you decrease something, you're going to draw. And that gets really, really powerful really fast. I think this leader has the ability to draw a lot of cards. But the one, I think, caveat of this is going to be there's no built-in self-awaken. So you're probably going to have to run cards in the main deck that help you get there. Whether it's like Intensifying Power Trunks or Sankaba or something in blue. Maybe like the new Kaioken Goku from set 8. So real quick, before we get into the rest of the new cooler stuff, I want to read the one blue-red cooler card we've already seen and just kind of compare how it works with the deck. So we've got Cooler Clan Avenger. It's a barrier 2-drop 15k. As far as we know right now, nothing will like swap into this. So you're probably gonna have to hard cast it for 2. It doesn't seem like anything will cheat it in, although 2 is not like a super expensive cost, but it is a barrier, so it's just gonna sit there all the time. Auto, if your leader card is a Frieza clan, which the cooler we just saw is, when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 15,000 power for the duration of the turn. So a 2-drop, and this basically comes in and it'll KO most like 3 costs or less in the game. That's pretty cool. As far as I know, it doesn't seem like there's a way to put this in on your opponent's turn, so it doesn't seem like it'll trigger that draw on the unawakened side, but it will trigger the draw on the awakened side. And then auto, if your leader card is a Frieza clan, at the end of your opponent's turn, they place the top card of their deck in the drop area. So if you just drop this with barrier, your opponent's going to mill 2, one from your leader and 1 from this cooler. But now real quick, we'll go through the rest of the new cooler support. So next up, we've got Cooler Tyrannical Assault. It's a 5-drop double strike arrival red blue energy exhaust. Auto, when you play this card, your opponent places the top card of their deck in their drop area, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and they get minus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. Man, they are, first of all, this card art is so sick. I love how like the aura around him looks like it's kind of like painted on. Secondly, they're printing a lot of cards in this set in the Frieza clan archetype that get around barrier, and that is interesting but kind of scary, I guess you could say. It's really weird because, you know, people have been asking this for a while now. We need a few more answers to barrier, especially cards like Piccolo Assimilated Ability, which this thing absolutely destroys. And surprisingly as well, there's no restriction on how many of this you can control in the battle area, like the red-green Broly, and there's no, like, you can only play it once per turn, like on Super Saiyan Blue Resonant Gogeta, the red-green arrival. So there's absolutely no restriction. You combo a blue, you combo a red, and then you just drop 2 of these guys, and you kill 2 20k threats ignoring barrier. If your opponent has 2 Piccolo Assimilated abilities, normally that's like a snowball situation that you can't get around, like you just can't beat that. But in this deck, with this card, you can kill 2 of them with 2 arrivals. That's insane. And this doesn't seem to be tied to the Frieza clan archetype, so any blue-red deck can play this. This is going to probably be the best blue-red arrival card in all of set 9. I can't imagine something being much better than this. Double strike as well makes it a huge threat. I love the heck out of this card. This card is amazing. One thing I want to talk about as well, the 1-drop Frieza we talked about yesterday. It's a 1-drop red. When you play it, you draw a card, and you pay a red, activate battle to minus 10,000 something. That is going to be a valid way to trigger Cooler on the unawakened side in order to decrease an opponent's battle card and draw on the opponent's turn. Just one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Next up, we've got Combo Attack Cooler, 3-drop, 15k. Activate battle, pay a blue, choose 1 red or blue Frieza clan card in your battle area other than this card, and return it to the owner's hand, then play this card from your hand. So a few things I thought about this card. We've seen these like combination attack cards before. They were like tournament packs in set 8 or 7, I believe, and they do the same thing as this. Auto once per turn. When this card attacks or is attacked, choose a red blue multicolor in your drop area and combo with it. So we saw that in those tournament pack cards, but those are 2-drops. This you can turn into a 1-drop, and it's very easy to do that. If you do play the swap archetype, you can just play the 1-drop Overture to Power. You can like swap into the 2-drop, swing the 2-drop, then swing with your leader, activate battle, bounce the 2-drop back to your hand, and play this. Or you could play the 1-drop I just talked about, the one coming out in set 9, that decreases your opponent's battle cards during battle on both players' turns. You could bounce that back to your hand, and in essence, that's like a flute in the sense that you bounce it back to your hand. You can play it again later to draw more cards. So that's really powerful. This card being a potential 1-drop is really, really strong. And then you combo with the red blue from your drop area. That's going to allow you to very easily drop your Cooler Tyrannical Assault. And again, as many as you have in your hand and as much energy as you have, you can spam them, and you can kill up to a 30k, up to a 40k. It's pretty insane. Like, if your opponent drops a secret rare on you and you happen to have 4 of these in hand and you have 4 red energy, you do that, you neg 40 the secret rare. That's so insane. That's so crazy. I think this archetype is going to be really nuts. King Cold Astral Tyrant, dual attack. When you play this card, your opponent places the top 5 cards of their deck in the drop area. I like how there's just like a kick in the face to Janemba too, because this is a 6-drop and Janemba can't play 6-drops, even though this is like probably one of the exact cards they want to play to finish the opponent off. And I guess they added this card, and I could see this being a decent side deck for decks that do draw a crap ton, like Beerus and other weird decks like that. Even sometimes Vegeta Baby, they with the 1-drop that draws 3 and pitches 2, they go through their deck very, very fast. So if you get to 6 energy, which against Baby I don't think is very likely, but if you do get there, this card can kind of just finish off the game. I do think it's like an alternate win condition in very slow matchups, so I guess it's kind of cool, but not all that crazy. Next up, Chaos Beam Volley. I like how they added a counterplay in the form of Frost. They didn't forget that Frost is a Frieza clan that this archetype actually can search out. Counterplay: if your leader card is a Frieza clan card, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less, it's returned to the owner's hand instead of being played. Then your opponent places 2 cards on top of their deck in the drop area. Man, I really wish they would stop with these counterplays that bounce back to the hand. They don't do enough. Like, if I'm gonna counterplay a TN, which destroys blue-red in certain scenarios, I really want it to go to the bottom of their deck, which is another thing that blue does. A lot of blue cards in the game do put other cards to the bottom of the deck. So it would be nice to see that, but I guess for whatever reason they just they feel like that'd be too busted, and it would be pretty busted. I mean, it would basically make no difference between like a green counterplay, a red counterplay, and a blue counterplay. But I mean, the blue counterplays are just so lackluster right now because of that. So that's just one thing I wanted to mention here. But again, they added the mill 2 into this, so it could be good if you're going for that mill win condition. King Cold, imminent invasion, blocker, auto. If leader card's a red Frieza clan card and you choose one card in your life and add it to your hand, at the end of your turn, look at the bottom card of your deck, and if it's a red or blue Frieza clan card with an energy cost of 3 or less, other than King Cold, imminent invasion, play it, then shuffle your deck. A few things here. This is a 2-drop, so you can just play it, and like every single turn you can potentially take a life to self-awaken. We talked about that before. Cooler doesn't have any built-in self-awaken, and neither does the Frieza that we talked about yesterday. No built-in self-awaken there either. So this is a way to continuously get self-awaken, and it's a card you're just going to keep in active mode, so your opponent has to have removal to deal with it. And again, that's not super prevalent in the format right now. I mean, a lot of decks do have removal, but it's one of the things that is kind of missing right now. And the other thing too, the ability to look at the bottom of the deck and grab a red or blue Frieza clan. I haven't seen any effects so far that allow you to manipulate that, like that allow you to put Frieza clans to the bottom of the deck. So as of right now, this just seems like a chance ability. Like I might hit it, I might not, but either way, I'm still gonna get a life to my hand. But again, there always could be a card that allows you to put Frieza clans to the bottom of your deck. And if that becomes a thing, I can see this being a lot more powerful. But guys, I think that's pretty much all the cooler support we've seen so far. This archetype looks crazy. I'm really excited to play it. I don't know what's going to be stronger, Cooler, Frieza. They both have their pros and cons. I think Cooler is going to be a powerhouse with draw power. And man, that blue-red arrival has got me so excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.